Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to be tackling the air and fuel system on our pit bike build of a 2006 Kawasaki KLX110. Now, as you can tell, we've been pretty busy already. We've already done the top end, upgraded the clutch, wheels and tires, and a few other things along the way. So if you're ready, we'll dive into this project. All right, guys, before we dive into this project, let's talk about the parts I decided to go with. Now, on the intake side, I went with the kit from BBR. Really nice setup, gives you a lot more surface area. That way it can pull a lot more air into the engine. Now, as far as the carburetor, we're staying with a stock one, but the one that was on there, it had a tough life. So we're gonna start with a brand new one that I know hasn't been molested any. Now, the other thing we're going to have to take into account is the tuning for this one. Now, we're still going to be adding in an exhaust system, and the engine also has a cam. So that means it really needs to be rejetted. And beyond that, I don't know where it's going to end up. So it could end up at sea level or at 2,000 feet. And for that, I went with a jet kit from Dynojet. That way, no matter where it ends up, they'll have the necessary tools and jets to get it set properly. Now, as you can see, this machine's already been stripped back, so we can jump straight into installing these parts, and that's going to start with the air intake tube. All right, guys, step one, let's reinstall our intake. You do want to make sure that you install new gaskets when you're doing this. I mean, the other one may look okay, but I wouldn't really trust it. Little tight in here for a ratchet, so we'll just do this with a box end wrench. So we've got that set. Let's head back over to the teardown table, pull that carburetor apart, and put in the jets that should get it in the ballpark for this particular application. So let's go ahead and open it up and get these installed. Pristine clean. So as you can see, we've got a pretty wide range on the main jet. Given that we've got a different air intake, we've got a little bit higher performance cam and that pro circuit exhaust that's going to go on it, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with an 84 on the main. So let's get that swapped over. All right, there we go. Well, somebody really tightened that up at the factory. Let's try that again. There we go. Now we can pop the bowl back on. Next, let's go after our needle. Watch out for that spring, it'll come after you. A little retention spring that you got to pull up out of the way. That little guy. Next, we're going to set our E-clip to position number 4 as a starting point. And this slot all the way out, that's number 1. So you want to count in from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. All right, we've got our E-clip on slot number 4, and we put our washer above it. Then drop it into the slide. Now, take our retention clip and work it into position. The last thing we need to do at the table is just to set the air fuel screw, and Dynojet sends you the special tool that you're going to need. has kind of a D shape to it. So we're going to take it all the way in and then bring it out a turn and a half. Before we do that, let's make a little mark so you can keep up with where you are. And we're going after that little guy right here. So let's bring it all the way in. There was one. Looks like they had it at 1 3/4, so we're going to take it to 1 1/2. It does have a little play in it, so that's where it engages. So there's 1 1/2. Right now we can head over to the machine and get it installed. All right, we still had the old slide, so we need to get that removed. Now keep in mind, I will be installing a new cable along with throttle assembly, but for right now, we'll go ahead and put the old one on there and then swap it out later in another video. When springs attack. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and wiggle that throttle cable out of there. Once again, you're probably not having to do this to yours. Now, if you are, you do have to remove this little retention clip. There. Really is a moot point because we're going to be doing all this again when we put on the new cable. But hey, it is what it is. There's a slot right here. That's where that flat edge has to go. You can see a line that's been cut. There you go. Like that. Now if you missed this, you want to see me do it twice, go check out our playlist for this one when I do the controls upgrade. There. Now, let's get her dropped into the carb. Then just 2 more of those 8mm head bolts. These are going to be roughly, 7 foot-pounds. Just don't get carried away, as you will strip them out. Well, let's go ahead and get the choke. I think we just got it in right there and pull it around like that. There it is. Now I wish I still had access to our dyno, but we sold it several years ago. But I'm betting with everything that we're doing to it, I think we're going to get maybe 2.5 more horsepower out of it. And you're talking an engine that probably has 8 to begin with. That's a pretty substantial increase. All right, let's start with our intake adapter. BBR actually sends you 3 of them depending on which carburetor you're using. We're going to be using the smallest one because we just still have the stock one on here. Now if you had a 26 or a 28mm, well, they got you covered on that as well. They're probably assuming that you punched it out to a 140 by that point. All right guys, before we can get the intake boot on there, we need to modify this plate, the choke plate, I believe is what they call it. We're going to need to make a cut right here, so we've got enough clearance to get the intake adapter boot on there. We're going to cut it right here. Okay, let's chop this thing off. All right, they got back there, but that was a tricky way to do it. You have to get the clamp in there first and then just kind of wedge the adapter in between the carburetor and the that back plate. So, yeah, it's doable, but very, very close. That should do. And now we can go ahead and get this shroud bracket back in place. And then we have the optional, the airbox delete shroud bracket that we're going to install on the other side. So when I said, oh, we need to take this off anyway, no, we just needed to take it off to get it out of the way, just to make that cut. Neat little setup. Don't tighten that one all the way yet, so we can still move it around. About something like that. We do have the optional bracket, so let's go ahead and get it in place. Now we can go ahead and tighten up that other clamp. All right, before we install it, let's go ahead and spray it down with some oil. That way she'll be ready to go. You don't have to kill it, just want a light coat all the way around. That should do it. All right, guys, BBR sells this with what they call a filter shield. They also gave me another important word that said optional. Well, I'm opting not to use it, so. Let's see if we can wiggle her in there now. There we go. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this particular video, but as you can tell, I still have a lot to do on this machine. Now, if you'd like to see that unfold, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way, well, you'll be notified when we drop the next video. Well, listen, if you have any questions about this one, leave them in the section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, we just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.